Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, 13th of May 2023. And yeah, this is a sort of public information film. One of my viewers, James Gray, he asked how I board the roller. Well, those of you that know me well will probably assume that I simply told it a long story about King Dagobert, Saint-Éloi, and a little song about putting your trousers on backwards. No, I didn't. Right, the first thing to note with this roller is it isn't bored all the way through. It's bored long enough to take short pins. That is how the parts list seems to explain it. It's what I've done. Whether that's right or not, it is what I've done. It works. But I thought we would just spend a few moments talking about how I board the holes straight, or straight-ish. Now, if we quickly look at a lathe. Now, I'm going to call this a lathe. As I said previously, it's not really a lathe. This is a drill attachment that works. Well, it sort of works very well for what it is. Those of you that don't know lathes and lathe works, we'll start off by naming some parts. Headstock, tailstock. This is a rotating tailstock. Tool rest, obviously, and all lathes will have an ability to move the tailstock. Not many lathes have an ability to move the headstock. This one does. But with that slack enough that you can slide it, you can use that to centre things up. I've thrown that in there. I've not even got the machine plugged in. But obviously when you've turned a cylinder, turned something like that, this isn't one that I turned, this is actually a rolling pin that came from a charity shop. When you've turned it, of course, it's got the centre already sort of nicely marked where it's been centred in the lathe for turning, so you know where the centres are. And the way I did this was, in some ways, it was a little bit hairy. With that against the tailstock, with the machine running, I pushed the tailstock, and I can't do it because I've run out of hands. I'm holding the camera in the other one, but I pushed the tailstock so that it progressed the work onto the rotating drill bit. Now, on a nice lathe, you would be standing well back and you would have centre steadies and all sorts of clever things, but on a little thing like this, of course, I was a little bit hit and miss. But with the machine running, I pushed on the tailstock, the bit went down the centre. Now, theoretically, if you do that with a long enough drill bit, you should, the drill bit should end up hitting the tailstock if you've got a 12-inch drill bit. If you've got a 6 and a bit inch drill bit, you would do one end and then reverse it and do the other end. That should work. Now, reason I don't like teaching things like this, these are things that really a video doesn't really cover. To learn lathe work, you should spend time with an old man who's still got all 10 of his fingers, and he will tell you all sorts of stories, because of course as we lay over the machine to push the towel stock, this thing's going round at full blast drill speed. Most lathes, you would have a gearbox and you would run it slow, run it fast, whatever, but this is just going round and round and round, and it's horribly easy to get caught, you know, get a tie, or because I know you all do lathe work wearing a collar and tie, or get your clothing caught in it, or for it to snatch and to smash your finger. So I am very nervous about telling you how I did it, because there are more than a few ways that you can end up hurting yourself doing this. So I say, that's why I suggest that you should learn lathe work at the elbow of an old man who's still got all 10 fingers, rather than relying on a YouTube video. For me, it did the job. I was happy the job worked. If it hadn't worked, if something strange had happened, like the roller had exploded or something like that, well, you know, I could have found another bit of wood and made another one. But yeah, that was how I did it. Hope that's sort of useful to you. But whatever you do, whenever you use machinery, just remember that machinery can very quickly reduce your ability to count to 10. This machine, it's an electric drill. You know, most lathes, most big proper lathes, not only have you got an on switch somewhere up here, but a decent machine, you've also got a kill switch somewhere under your toe, so you can kill it there, and you should have a big button on the wall that you can kill all of the electric. Because every year there are people that get pulled into machines, strangled by their clothing, and their employer has to pay a lot of compensation to their next of kin, and it can all end very messy. I remember a story my father used to tell about a machinist who was actually using a circular saw, and one way and another he managed to lose a finger, and somebody said, if we find your finger and put it in ice and take it with you to hospital, they'll be able to reattach it and it might... Yeah, great, okay. And they couldn't find this guy's finger until someone pointed out a red stain on the guy's workshop coat, because his finger had flicked off the machine and had gone into his pocket, as they do. And they grabbed a bag of frozen peas from the workshop kitchen and they got him off to hospital, and I don't know whether he successfully had it sewn back on, but it's, you know, I do not recommend you do anything dangerous. I do not want any of you typing comments on my videos badly because you've only got 9 fingers. But there we are. Hope that was helpful.